In Chapter 8, we're going to look at employee practices, things that employees do in a food establishment. Once you serve food to a customer, you may not salvage it and reserve it to another customer. This includes things like coffee or water or other beverages. It also includes things like condiments, jelly packets, sugar packets, ketchup packets. It also includes time temperature control for safety condiments or potentially hazardous condiments, like packages of sour cream, butter, or cream cheese. With time temperature control for safety condiments, once they've been removed from temperature control in a refrigerator, they are considered to have been served to a customer, and they may not be salvaged and put back into the refrigerator, even if they're kept on ice or chilled in some other way. Bad habits to have while you're working with food include things like smoking, eating, wiping your hands on your clothes or on an apron, wiping your hands on a dirty cloth, handling food with your bare hands, touching your hair, your face, or your glasses, or adjusting your clothing. A lot of these things are done unconsciously. If you have long hair and it falls in your face, you might tuck it back behind your ears. Or if you wear glasses, they might slide down your nose and you might push them back up without even thinking about it. But as a food handler, you always need to be thinking about where your hands are and what they're touching and whether they're clean or not. Employees may not eat food in any food preparation or food storage area or in any area where food or equipment may become contaminated. Also, employees shall not use chewing tobacco or chew gum while working with food or food contact surfaces or single-use items. Employees may have beverages in food prep area, but the beverages must be in a covered container. On the left, you see a plain glass that is not an acceptable container. On the right, you see a sipper with a lid and a straw. That is an acceptable container. In North Dakota, it is illegal to smoke in any indoor workspace. Smoking and cooking do not mix. The food code says that your employees must be clean and that their clothes must be clean and may not contribute to the contamination of food. If you have questions about dress code issues, such as tank tops or open-toed shoes, refer to OSHA. In the 1st District Health Unit, your employees may not wear jewelry on their hands or arms while working with food, and they may not wear fingernail polish or artificial fingernails if working with exposed food. Also, hair must be restrained at all times while working with food. The only acceptable hair restraints are hats or hairnets. Rubber bands and hairspray are not considered to be acceptable hair restraints. If your food employees have beards, they must wear a beard net. If they have hairy arms, they must wear long sleeves, and if they have hairy legs, they must wear pants. The reason is that the average person loses anywhere from 50 to 75 hairs every day, and you do not want your employees losing them into the food. At all times while a food establishment is open for business, there has to be someone present who is designated as being in charge. They have to know that they're in charge, and all of the other employees have to know that they are the person in charge. The person in charge has to be able to demonstrate their knowledge of food safety and of the food code. And the person in charge is the one who's responsible for making sure that employees are following good food handling practices and using safe foods and correct procedures. The person in charge also has to be able to demonstrate knowledge of the major food allergens. If your employees have personal items, things like purses, coats, bags, or medications, you must provide lockers or some equivalent facility for storage of those items. Personal items may not be kept or stored in food preparation areas. It is important to take care of the health and safety of the employees in a food establishment. Knife injuries are one of the major causes of work injury. If you have knives, have policies in place about their use and storage. Educate knife users in your facility about proper techniques. Have a dedicated knife storage area where the knives are not mixed in with other equipment. Slips, trips, and falls are linked to housekeeping. Encourage employees to wear slip-resistant shoes and use slip-resistant mats in slippery areas. Clean up spills immediately. Put out wet floor signs when necessary. Burn injuries are often on the hands. Provide heat-resistant equipment like oven mitts or heat-resistant aprons. If employees will be working around cooking equipment, have them wear long pants and long sleeves and closed-toed shoes. If you have heavy things that must be lifted or moved around, make sure that your employees are using their legs to lift things, not their back. It's important to provide the proper personal protective equipment. Federal law requires employers to assess hazards and provide necessary equipment to protect employees. If you have chemicals in your establishment, make sure to use them properly. Have the Material Safety Data Sheets, or MSDS sheets, available. They detail what to do in case of accidental exposure. Also, if you take chemicals out of their original containers and put them in working containers, make sure to always label that working container with its contents. Have an employee health policy. Make sure your employees know that if they're sick, they should not come to work. The possibility of food tampering, or possibly even a bioterrorism attack, is an emerging concern in food establishments. In Oregon, in 1984, there was an incident involving food tampering that came to be known as the Rajneeshi bioterrorism attack. Followers of the Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh were denied building permits. They decided to try to get their followers into positions of authority so that they could change the laws to accommodate their practices. They decided to run for 2 seats on the county circuit court and for the position of county sheriff. They were aware that they were not popular and that they were unlikely to win in a fair election. They purchased Salmonella enterica from a medical supply company and grew it until they had a large quantity. They put the salmonella onto lettuce and into salad dressings at the salad bars at 10 different restaurants in the Dell, Oregon. Overall, 751 people were made sick. The initial investigation by the Oregon Department of Health ruled the event to be a foodborne outbreak due to poor personal hygiene by the food handlers at the restaurants. It wasn't until a year later that the actual cause of the outbreak was found. This was the largest bioterrorism attack in U.S. history, and it was one of only 2 confirmed uses of bioweapons to harm humans since 1945. In your food establishment, it is important to look for unusual things. Look for persons taking notes, drawings, photos, or videos of your business. Look for persons attempting to gain information in person, by phone, or by email about your business operations, specifically about security measures and personnel. Look for persons conducting surveillance of self-service areas like the salad bar, condiment areas, and open bulk containers. Look for persons attempting to gain access to restricted or unauthorized areas. Look out for thefts of employee uniforms, badges, or packaging labels. Look out for employees changing working behavior or working irregular hours. Look out for unattended vehicles illegally parked near your business. And look out for unattended items like backpacks or boxes within or near your business. There are things that you can do to be on the lookout for and prevent possible food tampering. Notify management if you observe something that seems suspicious. Secure any open containers of food or ingredients of food in food preparation areas appropriately. Control access of all employees, delivery personnel, and patrons to food storage and preparation areas. Keep doors locked as appropriate. Prevent access to food preparation and storage areas, including loading docks. Monitor self-service areas, for example, salad bars, condiment areas, open bulk containers, for evidence of tampering. Monitor products for retail sale for evidence of tampering, damaged packages, evidence of resealing of packages, and leaking packages. Monitor the security of the premises as appropriate. Conduct background checks on employees, and train your employees on awareness of suspicious activity and reporting procedures. If you have concerns, notify law enforcement and let them deal with it. This is the end of Chapter 8.